That. And joining us now is Massachusetts Democratic Senator Ed Markey, a member of the Health Committee. He joins me now. Let's start there. As you know, I don't have to tell you, Senator, Medicaid alone covers 72 million people of limited means, low-income individuals, both adults and children. Letitia James said unequivocally our Medicaid reimbursement system is locked. What can you tell us about what's going on in Massachusetts and your reaction to it?
Well, across the nation, 80% of all people in nursing homes are on Medicaid. Now, we have a name for those people. They're called grandma and grandpa. And 50% of them have Alzheimer's. When there is an attack on Medicaid, it goes to our most vulnerable seniors in nursing homes with Alzheimer's. It also goes to the most vulnerable children in Massachusetts, but across the entire country. And when the portal to Medicaid aid is frozen, well, that's casting a pall, a shadow over a lifeline for seniors, for kids, for families all across our country. And that is only the beginning of what's happening. It's doing the same thing for Head Start, for housing, for firefighters, fire grants, you name it, for veterans benefits. It's across the board. These are hardworking families who depend upon federal programs to help their families. And with the exception of millionaires and billionaires, we're talking about most families. They have someone who needs Medicaid, who needs help with their education, with their veterans benefits, all the way down the line. And Trump today has absolutely frozen the ability for the American people to get access to the help they need for their families.
We just heard in that press conference that Letitia James and other attorneys general plan to fight this. So that's one avenue. What can Democrats in Congress or Republicans who are concerned about it, what can Congress do?
Well, first and foremost, I think we should just say no to Trump's nominees if they are going to become the hatchet men and women for all of these programs. Now, let's be honest. This is Project 2025. The guy who orchestrated Project 2025 is now Trump's nominee to be the head of the Office of Management and Budget, controlling the spigot of federal money that goes to families all across the country that have been dependent upon, reliant upon that funding for decades. So now the curtain has been pulled back, and Project 2025 is the Office of Management and Budget, and he's going to be the absolute extension of Trump in the White House as king, is how he would want it, determining which programs live or die. It's unconstitutional, it's cruel, and it will not stand. But we are going to have to get up and fight. And not only do members of Congress have to stand up and fight, but so don't families, organizations all across this country. This is absolutely Donald Trump trying to turn himself into King Donald, and it is absolutely unacceptable.
We're talking about all of this within the confines of what you're talking about, the Constitution, the way that Congress has followed that, and presidents certainly, and then laws have been updated even up until the Impoundment Act, which I'll let you describe. But the reason I bring that up is because this is kind of the point. And my question to you is there kind of a failure of imagination or a not really a full understanding of the lengths to which President Trump and the people around him genuinely want to go to test and to disrupt the laws and the way and the practices and the way that this town has worked for many years, for decades, and even hundreds of years?
That's right. So on the one hand, supporters of President Trump are out there saying, as you just showed in a clip, this was the point. We elected him to shake things up and to challenge the assumptions of Washington. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is that dollars that come from Washington to our communities, to our schools, to our senior centers, to our police departments and fire companies are being frozen so that money stays here in Washington so that Trump can spend it in expanded tax cuts later this year. That's exactly what they're discussing at the Doral Golf Resort in Florida right now, is how they can cut taxes further for wealthy individuals and profitable companies. And to do that, they want to stop spending on priorities that are already in the law that help children, help seniors, help keep us safe, and help make us strong. Whether it's SBA loans for small business startups or it's emergency disaster response, it's not just wrong on policy, it's wrong on the law. And I expect there to be immediate challenges in federal court. And I frankly think this is what we predicted when those of us who campaigned saying President Trump would cause chaos would do so, and here we are.
Yeah, and look, I think that he would agree with you. Chaos is what he wants, which is why he's doing this. The question is what comes after that. Senator, thank you so much for coming on with me today. I appreciate it.
Joining me now is the top Democrat on the Senate Budget Committee, Jeff Merkley of Oregon. Senator, welcome. Thank you. Before we talk about the OMB nominee, what is your understanding of this freeze? Because as we read the memo, it is very unclear, for instance, whether Medicaid is also involved. Is also exempted as Medicare and Social Security are, and what's in, what's out, because people all over the country are confused.
Well, Andrea, so much is in. Anything that goes as a grant, anything that goes as a loan disbursement, and anything that goes through a third party, like Title I funds go to a school. They don't go directly to children in underfunded schools. It goes through the school first. And so it's vast, and it actually is just a huge attack on the Constitution. We have adjudicated this again and again. The power of the purse, clearly stated in the Constitution, is with Congress. This is the president saying, you know what? I want to look at everything that's been approved, and I'm only going to pass money on to the things I like. This battle was fought when Nixon tried to do impoundments. Congress passed a law saying it can't be done in 1974, the Impoundment Control Act. It was adjudicated to the Supreme Court over the line item veto. The president is not the decider when it comes to writing legislation. As much as Trump would like it, he is a president, not a king. As much as he would hope that the law was only a suggestion, the law is the law.
But by the time this is litigated, people might be without their daycare, without their food stamps or SNAP benefits.
Absolutely. Think of every program that we fund. It touches healthcare and housing and education, small business loans to keep our small businesses running. It touches hiring people to fight wildfires, hiring contractors to respond to disasters. It involves contracts that will be essential to build the bridges. It is very significant when it comes to funding hospitals. It is all kinds of grants. The Fire and Safer grants go to our firefighters to hire people and buy equipment. It touches everything. And this is the challenge. This is a power grab. It is unconstitutional, and it must be opposed in the strongest terms, hopefully in a bipartisan way, because all these impacts are going to affect red counties as well as blue, and red states as well as blue states.
Well, you asked some very tough questions of Russell Vought at the confirmation hearing. What do you think the chances are to try to get support against him being confirmed?
Well, at the confirmation hearing, Republicans were very supportive. He was Trump's former director of the Office of Management and Budget. But we now understand what the Republican plan is. It has three parts. The first part is attack programs that help people stand on their feet, families stand on their feet, and move into the middle class. Second of all, borrow massively from the federal government and run up the deficit. And third, give massive tax breaks to the richest Americans. That's a three-part plan. Well, part one was implemented in not just an expansive way, in a sweeping, everything is covered mode as of 5 p.m. today. It was issued last night, but it takes effect at 5 p.m. today. Mr. Vought was very proud of the impoundments he drove in the Trump administration. He said The court may say it's the law, and the Constitution protects the power of the purse for Congress, but the president doesn't agree, and neither do I. That was his response. So a man who says, I'm not...
President George Biden said. Dr. Biden said there was a feeling that he would be lenient to the organized crime in the mafia because they helped him win over Illinois, which was a critical state in the election. He said, but when John Kennedy initiated a very effective investigation into organized crime, there is a feeling that was motive to hurt the president. Dr. Biden said that he is confident that the conclusion the Select Committee on Assassination made in 1977 still ring rule. The committee concluded that it really was Oswald and that Kennedy was shot twice, both from behind.